Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak-to-Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
At the end of twilight, beginning of nightfall, waning sun falls from the golden summer sky. Baseballs are sailing to clouds that are waiting like shooting.
Welcome back to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. I'm Barbara Hardt.
And I'm Doug Armitage. Thanks for joining us. During September, we are revamping our podcast a bit. Please hang in there as we navigate what listeners are asking for and how we can provide that. The intro music is provided by Anya Hinkle, a bluegrass and folk musician who grew up in the Appalachian Mountains of Virginia. Currently residing in Asheville, North Carolina, she toured Colorado in August. This song is her latest single, Coming Home, featuring Japanese banjoist and composer Akira Satake.
This episode is brought to you by the Netterling Community Library, Brightwood Music, Hart's Backhoe, and of course, the Mountaineer newspaper. And now to the news desk.
Our first story of the week is Jamie Lammers interviewing Grant Livingston of the band River Spell. Take it away, Jamie.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with Grant Livingston, local musician and member of the new band River Spell.
My name is Grant Livingston. I play in the local band called River Spell. I'm the guitarist and vocalist and songwriter for the band.
How did the band start? How did you guys all meet? What were some of the musical influences that brought you together? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so I moved to Colorado about a year ago. I moved to the area, to Netherland, and I came out here kind of looking for a band and coming to start a new project. I knew about the music history here with jam and bluegrass and all that kind of stuff, and we're really into all that stuff. So I moved out here about a year ago. Through a friend of a friend, I met our bassist Jake, who's a really awesome guy, and he has been playing with the rest of the band. Nate and Ben, they met at School of Rock in Denver years ago when they were younger in middle school or something. So they've been playing together for a long time. And yeah, so we just linked up and we've been playing regularly for about 6 months now and been having a lot of fun doing it.
What were some of the musical influences that brought you guys together?
Our biggest influences are bands like the Grateful Dead and some of the local bands around here like Yonder Mountain Band or Elephant Revival we really love, and bands like Railroad Earth, we really love them, and we're actually really excited we get to play with them on a festival coming up here in September. And then the other guys in the band, I know they grew up with a lot of different influences. I know they listen to a lot of classic rock, and Jimi Hendrix is big for those guys, and a new band called King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Those guys have been turning me on to them, and they're really awesome. They're a super dynamic band with a bunch of different genres and sounds and kind of all over the board. So our songs, I write most of the songs, and those are kind of folk-based in essence. A lot of my influences are like Bob Dylan and Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter and those kind of people. So at the core of our music is a lot of folk music, but then we play in an electric rock and roll kind of context with a lot of improvisation and a lot of elements from jam bands that we love like that, like Fish and the Grateful Dead and stuff. And so those are most of the elements of our sound.
What was some of the musical background of the band members in general? Like, how did they grow up around music, and how did they decide they wanted to go into music, that sort of stuff?
Those guys have been playing since they were really young. I know Jake, I just found out recently, I was talking to his mom about it actually, and she told me a cool story that she didn't even really know that he was picking up the bass that much, or she knew he had one, but she didn't know how seriously he was taking it. But he spent just a ton of time in the basement or in his room or whatever playing all the time, and one day she got a call when he was at some point in middle school and heard that he had submitted himself for Best Young Bassist in Colorado award, and he had won that, and it led to all these awesome trips and shows he got to play and stuff. And so, yeah, I know he was kind of self-taught and just still really deep, which is awesome. And the other guys have been playing a really long time as well. I know they were all involved with School of Rock in Denver, and yeah, I've just been involved with music since really young age, and they're all really amazing players. I'm really grateful to have met them.
What are some of your favorite aspects about being able to perform live in a group like this and have that dynamic of a band?
I really just love the collaboration that comes out of, we love to keep our songs really open in terms of format and leave a lot of space for improvisation, so it just makes it really fun for us that we can kind of soak into each situation, each show, and treat the music so differently and kind of try to be open to what sounds and what melodies present themselves to us at the time and bounce ideas off each other that will come to us in the moment. And yeah, it keeps it really fun and fresh for us to be able to do that, and a really good way for us to connect with our community as well. We love playing in Netherlands around here, and it feels really good to let loose.
And is there anything that you hope that audiences will be able to take away from your shows when they come and see you?
Mostly fun, I'd say. I hope that we can provide a fun, open experience for people to come out and have a good time and let loose a little bit with us, and whatever else presents itself. Music can be for me, can be so healing and cathartic in so many ways, and we really try to throw our souls into it and give it everything we've got. And yeah, we hope that gives some sort of experience of whatever it is, joy or catharsis or anything to people. We hope we can bring some feeling.
Is there anything else just in general about the band or anything coming up? Just anything in general you want to add?
I guess the last thing I'd add is, we're just super grateful to be kind of a part of the community here in Netherlands, and we hope to carry forward the amazing history of just awesome music that's been around here in a long time. We really, really appreciate the spirit of bands like Yonder Mountain String Band and Grateful Dead and Elephant Revival and all these bands who have had such an impact on the culture here. And yeah, we hope to be another one of the many bands carrying that legacy forward around here. So yeah, we appreciate the chance to be playing music in Netherlands.
I think those are all the big questions I have on my end.
Right on. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Jamie. I really appreciate it. We've been having lots of fun getting this going. I appreciate you featuring us.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Thank you so much to Grant for coming back to promote his band Riverspell for the podcast. Be sure to check out Riverspell when they come to perform at a peak-to-peak venue near you.
Thanks, Jamie. Now to the news desk.
Some of the current highlights in the Mountaineer include our weekly music column, the only weekly print music listing to cover the entire Peak-to-Peak region. This week also features several Keep It Local stories, Gilpin and Nederland government stories, updates on the Nederland Police Department, our weekly nature column, and much, much more.
For our next story, Jamie Lammers interviews Tim Triggs and Mary Joyce of the Foggy Tops Bluegrass Band. Off you go, Jamie.
Hello, my name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with Tim Triggs and Mary Joyce of the Foggy Tops Bluegrass Band.
I'm Tim Triggs, and I live in the foothills above Boulder. Built my house there starting in 1975, still working on it. And I retired about 20 years ago and started this bluegrass band called the Foggy Tops Bluegrass Band. We started in 2015, so we keep getting better. And we play all around Boulder County in different places, mostly brew pubs, but also farmers markets and such things. And I'm sort of the designated leader, I guess, of the group.
Tim's our top foggy in the Foggy Tops. That's what we call him. And I'm Mary Joyce. I'm a nethead. Been here over 30 years now. Taught at the elementary school many years. Did physical education for the little ones. Loved it. But retired about 4 years ago. And I've been playing instruments all my life. And most recently picked up the bass. That was my COVID project. Kind of a accidental COVID project. I didn't plan it. It just, a bass came into my life right when everything shut down. So it was me and my bass for months playing to YouTube videos and learning. So now I'm playing bass with the Foggy Tops and having a blast. We have a lot of fun.
You mentioned that the Bluegrass Band started in 2015.
Yeah.
So how did the band start? How did you guys get together? How did you guys start this band? What was your main intention behind it? All that sort of stuff. How did it begin?
I had just started playing bluegrass a couple of years prior to that. Started going to a weekly Thursday night open jam, bluegrass jam at the West Flanders, and a lot of the same guys showed up every week. And concurrently, my wife and I were taking African drumming lessons from a gentleman from Ghana, so it was pretty intense staying with his instruction. He wanted to raise money through a fundraiser to help build a cultural center back in Ghana, his hometown. And I said, do you need any live music? He says, sure. Well, we can play Bluegrass. He says, okay. He says, what's the name of your band? I said, I'll have to get back to you. So I talked to the guys that ended up making up the band, and we had a little thing where we submit about 6 or 8 names, and then we voted on the best name, and it was the Foggy Tops. So that's how we got our name. So that was our first gig, was the fundraiser. Then I think our next one, I met the woman that was running the farmers market up in Longmont. I think that was our next one, and slowly we built up our places where we could play. So currently we try to play every 2 weeks, but sometimes we get thicker in the summer. But the band's a lot of fun, and we don't take ourselves too seriously at all. And we like to interact with the crowd, and they enjoy that. And we usually explain what we're going to play so they can listen in and know what the heck to listen for. So it works out well. We have a tip bucket that we play at farmers market in Longmont, and lots of families, lots of little kids dancing
so
like you
fun.
can't believe. It's so much fun playing when you're in a situation like that. And then the little kids kept bringing up like dollar bills from their parents and putting them in the tip bucket. So it is a lot of fun.
The toddlers paddling up with their dollar bills. Very
That's
cute.
amazing.
I figure if we're having fun, the crowd's having fun. So
Yeah, they can feel that we're having fun.
that's our slogan, is keeping it fun. That's what we try to do.
You guys are primarily a bluegrass band. Were there any artists that stuck out to any members in the band when you first started, or just any influences in general when the band began?
Well, that's a tough question. I think there were just some certain songs that I liked to listen to that I learned along the way, and we still play some of them. So
I think every member of the group brings their own favorite music to our band to play.
And it's not all bluegrass either.
Yeah.
Some of it's Americana, some of it's old time stuff.
Country,
Yeah.
jazzy stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good mix. But as Mary says, we take turns in the band leading the songs as we go through a set. And so we just pick some of our favorite songs as we go around and lead those and sing those if we're leading them. Some of the songs are instrumentals, but I think 3/4 of them have words.
And so do you guys primarily play covers? Is that kind of your wheelhouse? Or do you have some originals kind of scattered in there as well?
I've written maybe 3 or 4 that we play occasionally. One we haven't played lately about Donald Trump. That was easy to write verses for. Yeah, one of the other guys in the band has written a few songs, but most of them are covers.
In regards to just being able to play live, because that's a big part of this band as a whole, what are some of your favorite aspects about being able to play live and being able to share this music with a crowd and all that sort of stuff?
For me, I just love the energy. Our group, when we hit a groove and we are interacting and playing our music together and get this great vibe going, and the crowd picks up on that and they start moving with us and grooving, and it's just so much fun. It's great energy.
Yeah, it is. I hate it when people aren't paying attention. You know, they're just sitting there and, you know, maybe talking to each other and don't even know we're there. But like Mary says, most of the time we have a good crowd. They really pick up on the music, and you can tell they're really enjoying it. So it builds the energy for us. We can play better, I think, when we just feel that people are appreciating it and loving it. And then again, there's a lot of the gigs, little kids show up. We've even had people like at the Gold Hill store and pub bring, you know, little babies less than a year old, you know, and you can tell they're rocking to the music. It's very cool.
I love they're just uninhibited. They'll just get up and they feel the beat, they start moving and dancing, and then the parents usually jumps in dancing with them, and it turns into a party.
Is there anything that you guys hope that people take away from your shows when they come and see you? Is there anything that you hope audiences will gain or will learn, or do you just want them to have fun?
Just fun, just a release, just relax and enjoy and appreciate music and let go of troubles for a while. There's no big message in our music. It's not meant to be deep.
A couple songs have messages, but they're kind of funny messages.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the band in general that you want to add, or anything coming up in general? Or
Well, we have a website. It's foggytops.com, and you can go there, and on the menu bar you can go to the gigs tab, and that takes you to all the shows that are planned that are coming coming up for the next couple of months, plus all the ones that we played over the last few years. The string gets longer and longer. So that's a good way to find out where and when we're playing. And there's also some sound clips of some of the music we play on there. That's under audio, I think. And then there's a video that has video clips. They're all about a minute long, more or less. And there's a little more information on the website, but you should go there and check it out.
And are there any shows in general that you guys want to promote that are coming up in the near future?
When's the Jamestown
Merc, I think, is Sunday, September 4th.
We play up here in other
venues. We played here at the Netherland Farmers Market
Mm-hmm.
on the 19th of June, Father's Day. That was interesting. We're about 10 minutes away from the end of our gig, and a thunderstorm came in like you can't believe. It was just torrential. And, people that had the little tents up, they started blowing around. And, yeah, it was pretty
carnage.
crazy.
One of the things I was going to mention, though, is what I think makes us a little unique. We have the traditional bluegrass music and instruments, but we also have Richard Turco, is a local over from Sugarloaf, who plays the cello with us and also the saxophone, variety of saxophones. And that adds a really interesting, fun flavor to our music that you don't usually hear in bluegrass.
He does that when Mary's playing the bass, but when Mary's on vacation,
we move around a little bit.
Richard Turco plays the bass himself.
And we have, Lori Rugenstein is our fiddler. She's amazing, lots of experience and great riffing on her fiddle. Elijah Donovan, who's our youngest Foggy top. He's the only one who's not Foggy, really. He hails from Longmont, but really
terrific
amazing
banjo player.
Banjo. He plays guitar with us, picks a lot of things. And we have Mike Hendricks, who maybe is our foggiest, I'm not sure. An amazing mandolin player. Just riffs on that thing and sings a lot of our songs. John Ware joins us on the violin, the fiddle on occasion.
He's usually out of town, but
if he's around, he'll come sit in with us and play some tunes.
Yeah, interestingly, Richard Turco, who plays the saxophone, he was trained on the saxophone at Berklee School of Music.
We have two Berklee musicians in our band. Woohoo! I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Lori Rugenstein is also Berklee trained.
Fiddle player,
Yeah, so we do have some talent. And Tim, of course, Tim Trigg plays a harmonica. How many bluegrass bands have harmonica? Not many. So that's another makes us unique. I forgot to mention that. Yeah. So we have an unusual sound, but it makes it a lot of fun having all those different instruments and influences coming in.
I think those are all the big questions I have on my end. Thank you guys so much for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. This was great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Very
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Tim and Mary for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to see Foggy Top's Bluegrass Band perform live, be sure to check them out at the Jamestown Mercantile, 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Sunday, September 4th, 2022 at 12 p.m. For more information about the band, visit foggytops.com.
Thanks, Jamie. Did you know every week you can check out the latest Backdoor Theater movie on their website at www.thebackdoortheater.org.
Friends, the Gilpin County Democrats hold monthly meetings in person on the fourth Thursday of each month at the Gilpin County Library from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Contact gilpindemschair@gmail.com with questions.
Peak-to-peak musicians and artists, the Mountain Ear is looking for you. We're looking for our October and November featured musician. Would you like a feature story in the Mountain Ear print, online, and podcast editions? These are all completed through email, phone calls, or occasional in-person interviews with our journalists. Interested? Check out our contact information at the end of the podcast.
Fall is here, and Brightwood Music in Nederland has the school band and orchestra instruments you need. From violins to violas, cellos to upright bass, flutes to clarinet, and more, Brightwood has what you need for the aspiring musician in your life. Brightwood Music is family-owned and operated and has been a Nederland staple for all of your music needs since 2009. They are located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, Unit 109 in Nederland, and can be reached at 303-258-8863. Check them out on Facebook at Brightwood Music.
And here's Jamie Lammers once again interviewing Adam Paz of the No-Go Gillbillies.
Hello, My name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with Adam Paz from the local band No Go Gillbillies.
I'm Adam Paz, and I play banjo with the Gillbillies, so one of four of us.
How did No Go Gillbillies start? How did you guys meet? How did the band start? All that sort of stuff.
We all lived within a square mile out on South Beaver Creek out in Gilpin, and so we knew each other for, I guess I knew Pump, our bass player, known him for 25 years. I guess I've known him the longest and played with him several occasions, different things, and the other two, we were all in bigger bands, in bands that travel, touring bands and everything, and when we all decided that wasn't really what we wanted to do for one reason or another, kind of all around the same time, and just got together and started playing four-piece string band local gigs, pretty much local gigs only.
What were some of the influences that pulled you guys together as a band? What were some of your musical backgrounds? All that kind of stuff.
I mean, three of us are mainly bluegrass, and I guess my influences come from a lot of places. I've listened to a lot of metal and a lot of punk and pretty much everything, but metal and punk a lot. But then Dave, our mandolin player, he's a true bluegrasser from West Virginia, and Paul's from North Carolina, and Pump is the one that really is more classically trained in jazz, but he's a bluegrass musician too, so got a lot of influences. These days we really play a lot of traditional bluegrass with some of our originals thrown in there, all wrapped up with our own style.
And so would you say that bluegrass is kind of your big style in regards to what you play as a band?
As the band, yeah, pretty much it's your classic four-piece bluegrass string band for sure. Bass and mandolin and guitar and banjo. In regards to playing live, what have been some of your favorite aspects about playing live over the years and being able to share music with a crowd of people? I don't know, this area especially has got a pretty good history with music in general, and especially bluegrass. There's been a lot of good bands coming out of Netherlands specifically too, the Yonder Mountain, String Cheese, and all those Leftover Salmon and Hot Rise, all the way back to the 60s and 70s, and just the fact that people are really into bluegrass is one of my favorite things. Music that's been around for a long time, and we can put our own twist on it, but still really appeal to people who like bluegrass and a lot of different age groups, and it's just so diverse, the people that come and listen to our music, so I like that about it. And is there anything that you hope that audience members will be able to take away from your shows when they come and see you? So if they have a good time, that's really all we're out there for, is for people to have some good music to listen to, have a good time, a place to gather and hang out, hang with their friends, meet new people. Kind of what every musician wants, is just for people to enjoy the music and have a good time at their show. Is there anything else just in general about the band or about anything coming up or anything in general you want to add? I don't know. It's kind of sporadic. Like I said, we were all in touring bands where we were gone 3 weeks out of every month all the time. So at this point, we don't really go searching for gigs. We're not just out there booking all year round. We just take gigs as they come to us, and so you just gotta keep an ear out, keep an eye open for posters or whatever, and if you want to see us, come see us. It's fun. Definitely fun, and we all really enjoy doing it, so I think that's the most fun part, and probably one of the most important too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are all the big questions I have. Okay.
Thank you so much to Adam for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to see No Go Gillbillies performing live, be sure to check them out at Salto, 112 East 2nd Street in Nederland on Friday, September 2nd, 2022 at 5 p.m.
Thanks! The Gilpin County Republican meetings are on the first Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. at the Gilpin County Library. You can contact them at gcrcgilpin@gmail.com.
Are you interested in being a podcast sponsor? We have sponsorships available starting at $30 per week, or sponsor a whole month for just $99. The podcast reaches a different audience than the print or online edition of The Mountaineer.
Did you know that the Gilpin County and Nederland area seniors have their schedule of events in print in the Mountaineer each week? Looking for meals, movies, grocery shopping, and more? It's right here between pages 4 and 5 each week.
And for our final story, here is Jamie Lammers with Rocket Parade member Ben Sproul.
Hello. My name is Jamie Lammers, and this is my interview with Ben Sproul of the brand new project Rocket Parade.
My name's Ben Sproul. I'm Netherlandian.
I hear that you are a part of a band called Rocket Parade.
Yeah, totally. That's a newer project. I used to have a band called Electric Toast, and I used to play in a band called the Pine Dwellers as well. And Rocket Parade's a newer project with Otis Landy playing bass. He's played with Youth Orchestra and a bunch of different bands around here over the years. And Andrew Lunsford as well. He's playing keyboards and singing and writing, and everybody's singing, writing tunes. And then our drummer, Matt Cottle, he's down in Pagosa. Springs doing a bunch of events down there, but we go down there and we come back up here too.
And I hear Rocket Parade is performing at the Caribou Room soon?
Yeah, we're playing the Caribou Room September 10th, and we have band Dream Machine, which drummer Matt also plays with from Pagosa Springs, coming, and they're starting out the show. They're a rock trio, and Robin Davis is kind of known for doing bluegrass stuff around here for some years, so hoping for kind of a cool turnout there.
How did Rocket Parade start? How did you guys meet? What were some of the musical influences that brought you together? All that sort of stuff.
Well, Otis Landy, I've known him for a long time. He played music with my older brothers when they were in high school, like way back in Boulder. And I mean, I was like 10 years old when I met him. So later on, playing music here and there, you know, he was playing with different bands, and so was I. And we kind of tried doing side projects together. And nothing really ever came too much of doing anything with that, just playing together here and there. And Andrew, he also makes records, and he's made records for a ton of different people since the 70s. So I kind of met him just through doing some of the jam nights that we do in Netherlands, and just different shows and stuff, and playing together and hanging out, and different bands he was playing with and recording, and kind of going over and recording stuff with him, just messing around, having fun, throwing guitars on stuff, and doing shows here and there. And it kind of just eventually evolved where we're like, coming out of the pandemic, let's do a project. And we've been doing all these recordings ourselves, which is really convenient that Andrew has the experience that he does with recording. We're really blessed in that regard.
What are some of the musical influences that inspired you and other members of the band?
I mean, I know we all have an influence in rock and soul music and funk and different stuff. Like Andrew, he was around in the 70s, so he was up close and personal for a lot of different, even recording of rock and roll records that we've all listened to and heard. Some people might even have them in their vinyl collection. So there's kind of just a natural element that, you know, it's like where he's come from, although he's worked with so many different people over the years. And I grew up pretty steeped in kind of rock music sort of stuff with my older brothers had a band that I was around a lot and different bands. And then Otis, he grew up around a lot of music, his dad being a pretty famous jazz musician. And so I'd say probably of all of us, his influence is the most diverse and wide, which is one of the awesome things about all the different things that we all bring into this group. Otis has such a wide musical repertoire, I guess. Yeah, he's got the know-how.
And what inspired you to pursue music at a younger age? What brought you into music in the first place, and what got you where you are now?
I mean, easily, that's as easy as my older brothers playing music, and our dad playing records too is a big thing that kind of spurred my brothers playing. But then with my brothers playing, I mean, they had a band that was very popular and touring for pretty much my entire adolescence and thereon. So I was pretty steeped around it. It was just like, oh, there's a guitar on the couch. Like, there was always a guitar on the couch. And then there was a point, I was 15 when I actually started playing and put my head down on it. I think it was just life sucked because I was 15 and I was in high school, and that sucked. And my brother's band, I hung out with them, and they would be traveling a lot. So I had a lot of time where I was doing stuff. I didn't really hang out with the high school scene too much until I started my own band. But yeah, it was really easy because I was just surrounded by it. So it was pretty easy to just immerse myself in it.
And what are some of your favorite aspects about being able to perform live and share music with a huge crowd of people?
I mean, to me, it's pretty much the greatest thing that there is. In a way, it's like, especially with elements of improvisation and stuff on stage, and not just improvisation, you know, the songs, we try to make sure that we're coming from an authentic place with what we write. We all share that in common. So being able to share that with people and seeing that move other people, the audience is just as much a part of it as we are. We're just the ones who are lucky enough, and also sometimes the curse of being the channel for the music. But it's definitely the greatest high on earth, I'd say, being able to perform and make something good happen for people.
Is there anything that you hope that audiences will be able to take away from your shows when they come and see you?
Yeah, ultimately a good time. I hope the most that people just have fun and enjoy the music and kind of get that spirit out and get their rocks off. Always, hopefully, someone connects with the music and the songs themselves because, you know, it's personal content and a lot of soul-bearing that we all kind of put out through our music. But I just hope that people have a good time and they want to keep coming back. It's kind of the point. Celebration of life.
Is there anything else just in general that you want to add about
band. Really, I just want people to come out and check out the music and also check out our recordings, the way that we're doing our recordings and stuff. We're super blessed. Andrew having produced the records that he's produced and also being a part, the fact that we're doing his songs, my songs, Otis' songs, we're a band, and being able to do our own recordings so independently and have the experience behind it that makes it sound the way it does. So it's coming off with professional quality, but we're just doing it. There's no restrictions to it, so it's allowing for artistic freedom within that. So it's not just our live shows, but the recordings as well. We're going to be releasing a single pretty much every month, no end in sight, unless for whatever reason we can't release one month, and we've been doing that since we started with this band being what it is, and we've got 4 songs out now. They're on Spotify and Amazon, all that different stuff. So yeah, totally. And just check those out and keep a lookout for more songs coming.
I think those are all the big questions I have on my end.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
I want to thank you so much for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. This is really great.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much to Ben for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. If you want to catch Rocket Parade performing live, be sure to check them out with Dream Machine at the Caribou Room, 55 Indian Peaks Drive in Netherland on Saturday, September 10th, 2022. Doors open with dinner at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8 p.m.
Thanks. Friends, don't forget to pick up this week's edition of The Mountaineer in multiple locations across the Peak to Peak for the latest news from Allens Park to Central City and Blackhawk, with all of the communities and canyons in between. To contact The Mountaineer, email info@themountaineer.com or call 303-810-5409. And that's all for this week's episode of The Mountaineer Podcast.
All editions of the Mountaineer Podcast, print newspaper, and the latest news are always available on your website at www.themountaineer.com. Thanks, everyone. I'm Doug Armitage.
And I'm Barbara Hardt. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Stumbling and hurrying home for the very first taste. A bicycle passes by, squeak and wheel every time it turns. I hear the wind chimes on the breeze, rustling the leaves on the trees. It's miles away from here, and it's years since I've been there, but in my mind I'm always going home. If I wander, if I go, I'm always coming home.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak-to-Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.